New day, new learning. On today's vlog, I'll be able to discuss about the Filipino traits and characteristics. As we know, every country has their own culture who had their traits and characteristics in corresponds of who they are. And they Filipino have these positive and negative traits that I'll be discussing today. So what are those positive traits and the negative traits? So as you can see in the left side, the mano po kind of respect usually found in the Filipino culture, and the unity of the members or in a society as a form of whole family is you can see also usually in the Philippines, and also the bayanihan kind of action. So the negative traits, we have this the manana habit, taningaskugon, and so on as we proceed to our topic this day. So first, we do have these positive traits of a Filipino. First, the faith in God. We as a Filipino have a strong relation in our God. For example, in Christmas, we do going to church. In New Year, we do going to church again. And every time or every um every Sunday we usually going to church to serve God with our family. And we may have different religions in different sectors of our country, but what is consistent is that we all have one strong form of faith. That's what I am talking to. So next, the close family ties. As you can see in the pictures that I chose, it is usually portrays how unified a Filipino had. The smiles, the relations, and all of that pictures that they had portrays how they can be the form of a unity. So we enjoy the feeling of having of knowing family members around us, from cousins, our aunts, uncles, and grandparents. Some families share their homes, celebrate holidays, and lend a hand to relative unities needed, and that is appreciately important for a family, and it is usually portrayed or it is usually conveyed in a family of a Filipino. And next one is the welcoming visitors. We as a Filipino known for our hospitality, because when we have our visitors, even though we don't have a money, but we tend to have this type of attitude that we serve them as long as we had to to enjoy them. As when we have people visit our homes, we always welcome them with smiles, conversation, and especially the food. And that's we welcome our visitors. Next one is being obedient and dutiful. In our culture, we always respect and follow what our parents and adults advise us to do, not talking back, and trusting the adults around us has always been part of who we are. Yes, that is true. As a Filipino, in our culture, when we are commanded by an old or older than us, we usually do what they have to do for us. For example, in this picture, a boy carries this bag in order to help his father, and this one boy tries to behave of what his grandma said. And this picture usually does as a obedient and a dutiful form of action. Next, respectful and helpful. This boy bandaged by a girl as a form of help, and this other side, boy respect a grandmother by carrying him to lend for she may able to transfer to the another area without any accident happen. So in this kind of action, it is expected that we helped out in the house and tend to offer help to siblings, friends, and relatives when we can. We have the bayanihan spirit in us, and it is why in times of calamities or disaster, just what this one picture portrays. Filipinos are mostly helpful to one another. And when we do a respect from the mano po to saying po and opo to our elders, these words that are part of our language show how we respect people. So that's how a respectful manner and a helpful manner of a Filipino has. So next one is being diligent and patient. So majority of our livelihood in the Philippines is based on agriculture. Yes, I agree with it. It takes a lot of back-breaking work to plant the fields. Then, it takes patience to care, water, and harvest for it. For example, this mother who protects and secure his child, he tend to secure for his safety in order to give him a good health and a good life, even though it takes patience and a long term of care. And this type in this one of a kind of a mother had. Then this nurse, even though it takes a long term to sustain the daily needs of his patient, but he patiently waiting for her recovery. And that's why a Filipino considered to be a diligent and a patient. And other one is being resourceful and creative. This type of picture that I chose is usually portrays how a resourceful and creative a Filipino made of. So being a resourceful during the times when we don't have the means to accomplish something, we find ingenious ways of using what we had to solve our problems. For example, in this type of picture, as you can see, boys carrying their containers in a simple manner in order for them to not be able to have a strong, they don't need to have a strong body, but they used a kind of creative and resourceful manner, just like what the other one has made. Being cheerful, another form of positive traits of a Filipino. Because we've been through a lot of trials in our history, Filipinos have learned not to be depressed. Rather, we find a joke and try to have fun even during times of difficulty. In this picture, even though this child, they have a poor and they don't have the things that they want to, but they portrays or the smiles of what is the true happiness is. That what Filipino traits come up. And the other one is the thrifty, being thrifty and frugal. So for me, it is not bad for being thrifty and frugal. We don't like to waste anything since we don't have a lot, and that is true. Filipinos are tend to careful of what we have, and knowing that it will serve us well for a long time. For example, in this first picture, the man eat a rice with one fish only, and it sustain his daily needs. He don't need a lot of rice, he don't need a lot of fish to sustain his stomach, but he tend to be the advanced mindset that he could live for a long term of life. And being frugal is not a bad. Then we proceed now to the negative traits. We, a Filipino, has also this kind of negative traits. So what are these negative traits? So first, we have the ningas kugon. What is ningas kugon mean? We start something eagerly but lose momentum and don't tend to finish or reach long-term goals. So as you can see in the picture, a, a man striving harder in the first place, but when it comes that it happened that it is very close to achieve his main goal, he tend to stop. That's what is ningaskugon mean. You leave our work either half-baked or unfinished, and that's badly. Don't do it. The mañana habit itself. Sometimes Filipinos would like to put off doing things until it is too late. Examples: fixing what needs to be fixed or saving money for future expenditure. For example, in this picture, this man, he knows that he can accomplish this time, but since he is he think that he has more time, so he need to rest while don't finishing his momentum of study or assignments until the next picture comes, that it tend to happen that the time has end and he don't come up with his main goal. That's what mañana habit. Then the crab mentality. Filipinos sometimes get jealous of other people's success, and that is true. It is very true in our society nowadays. They find a way to pull the other person down rather than striving for better. So for example, in this kind of negative traits of a Filipino, there are people who, instead of praising or instead of encouraging others to improve or to achieve their goals, they are tend to pull them down by discouraging or by talking too much, which is not good, and that Filipino has too. Another one is the colonial mentality. If something is made in America or of a foreign brand, we think it is of greater quality, and that is very accurate for a Filipino. When we know that these kind of things came from other countries, especially for the known countries like America, Canada, or anything around the world, we tend to buy foreign products more than we would buy locally made products, and that is a Filipino tend happen too, because we usually think that a foreign brand is better than our locally branded. As you can see in the picture, it is very obvious. The next one is the bahala na. When helpless, we tend not to act to solve our problems. We usually don't plan ahead of time or plan for contingencies, it is true. Because as we know that may bukas pa, as you can see in the picture, that there is another tomorrow. But for the other tomorrow, we don't have a plan yet. We don't have contingencies. Instead of covering all our bases, we simply let the fates dictate what will happen. It is true. When we say that bahala na, it is a kind of trait that we tend to have, the bahala na habit that we usually, in a Filipino term, ipinagbabahala na sa may kapal. That's it. That's accurate word for it. So another one is sore losers. Many times Filipinos become very competitive and hate losing. At times when we lose, we find a way to get even. For example, in an election, you know that you are tend to happen that you are going to lose. Then you'll find a way to get even or to get worse for your enemy or your opponent. You you should buy votes for other people, or you tend action that will even for the others but in a bad way. That is kind of a sore loser's attitude. You don't accept lose, but you always aim for a goal. It is not bad to aim for a goal, but you must also accept if it is not for you, then moved on and give that place for another person. The another one was a lack of discipline. It is very, very anonymous or synonymous for a Filipino attitude. It is very widely. It is it is a polluting kind of attitude. So, pollution, traffic rules, and following the law are things Filipinos tend to ignore. We like to sell our wares on the streets, beat the red light, and throw our garbage in the wrong places. As you can see in the pictures, it is very obviously what it conveys to. Bawal umihi dito, but a man tend to do that action again. Walang tawiran na kamamatay, but a man tries to transfer using this kind of road again. So that's what a Filipino bad traits tend to happen, a lack of discipline. After ending this video, I want to end this with a quote or with a question. So, which Filipino traits have you seen in your family and friends? So I think it both the negative side and the positive side. So I want to answer it first by a positive one. So the Filipino traits that I've seen in my family and friends is being the welcoming visitors and the close family ties, because it is very rampant kind of attitude being a Filipino, because we love to unify, we love to unite to our family so that we have a strong relations. And also when we have our visitors, we tend to serve them as long as we had in order for them to be happy. The next one is what are negative traits that I've seen in my family and friends? It is the lack of discipline. They are the ones, or I am the ones, who disobey the rules sometimes. Next question is, which Filipino traits do you see in yourself? So for me, the Filipino traits that I've seen in myself in a positive side is being a welcoming to visitor, because when I have my visitor, I tend to serve them all that I have. I want to serve them with joy, with smiles, with foods that they want to eat. Every time that I have visitors, I like to treat them like a family also. Then the negative sides, it is the mañana habit. It is the mañana habit that I have in my own. Why? Because I tend to have some alone time or some vacant, but I don't want to do it by accomplishing the assignments, the kind of like I am lazy to make it an early. So lastly, how can you change your negative traits into positive attitudes? So since I know that it is my bad or negative attitude being a mañana habiter, so I know that it will happen only to make me rush. It will make happen me to create a bad output, and also it will destroy only my career as a person in life. So I will inversely do the negative into positive, like doing the things to be done in an early period of time. Then if you have a lot of learning this time, if you have a lot of lesson that you get in this video. I hope you will subscribe to my channel, and God bless. Thank you for watching.